let me. Okay, it's just spinning in circles. So, okay, we're live. Hey guys, we got an amazing show. We got Missy Hill with us. We're gonna get started. I'm gonna play the intro and get into this. Buckle up. It's gonna be a fascinating show. And yeah, here we go. Muted. Okay, there we go. And then I just always put this up every show, guy. You know, I put this nifty subscribe button up. So remember to subscribe on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, or wherever. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram. Hit the notification bell on YouTube, and then hit the thumbs up on YouTube and Rumble, and subscribe on Rumble and all that good stuff. Subscribe everywhere so you get, you know, because I really don't know when I go live. I'm excited about my guest tonight. She always does an amazing show every time she comes on. Who I have with me is a Missy Hill. She's a paranormal historian. She's a gridworker. She's a UFO Skywatcher, and she's a remote viewer with decades of experience. And she's also an energy worker, and she has decades of experience of exploring strange intersections of history, esoterica, and the unexplained. She has investigated UFO sightings, Bigfoot encounters, time anomalies, haunted artifacts, which is what we're going to be talking about tonight, while also working with energy grids and ancient sites as a part of her gridwork mission. Missy is known for her ability to weave together paranormal research, mystical traditions, and modern ufology, creating a bigger picture of how these phenomena tie into consciousness and the hidden history of our planet. Tonight we'll cover time anomalies and dimensional bleed-throughs, paranormal investigations, including Robert the Haunted Doll, UFO skywatching with third-gen night vision, drone surveillance and anomalies in the sky, Bigfoot research and connections to UFO phenomena, gridwork, energy lines, and esoteric hotspots. And with all that said, I'd like to give her a big warm welcome back to the show, my good friend Missy Hill. Missy, thanks so much for coming back on. How are you?
I'm great. And, you know, right now I'm in a different location. Again, I'm actually visiting my aunt and uncle in White, Georgia, which is, you know, not too, it's north of Atlanta, but it's not far from these mounds that I might go to. And it was about an hour from this place called Gilmer County that has the Bigfoot expedition, which I went to yesterday, but the problem is they were closing. So I didn't get the full scoop on everything. I'd been there before, and I know that it was closing the last time. So I'm going to go on the way back to make sure I have plenty of time, because they close at like 5, and I got there at like 4:45. So yeah. But I got some cool pictures, and it was just really neat. You know, they were playing the Indiana Jones music when I went in there, and it was just interesting because they even had like videos like David Paulides, the missing 411, and then they had things like Harry and the Hendersons. Remember that movie?
I love that movie.
Yeah. And then today we went out to this place, I think it was called Becker's. It was all about places you can buy grains that you have to grind up. And I never knew that hard wheat was like the original, you know, not like white flour. You hear white flour is so bad. Well, true white flour isn't even white. It's more yellow if it's like hard wheat. And then there's this original grain called einhorn, because my aunt's really into like making sourdough bread and all this stuff. And then they had all these, you know, protein powders and elderberry syrup and doTERRA oils. And it was just kind of a really neat store, like olive oil and vinegar that had all these different flavors, you know, like
oh, wait, you cut out.
And then truffle. Prepare the to get my friend out west, you know, Jason Srirachi. So I actually invited Joshua P. Warwick on the show. He's too busy. Rob, you've disappeared. I'm here, but Rob is gone.
No, you cut out for a second. I'm here.
We'll keep talking. I don't know what's happening to Rob, but I am. And yeah, Midnight in the Desert. I've been playing some Art Bell bumper music in honor of the show. Having trouble, this often caused by unstable internet. Move closer to your router if you're on Wi-Fi. That's Rob. That's not me. That's what's being said. So anyway, while we're waiting for Rob to come back on, yeah, I'm picking up something going on out in the desert, Rachel, Nevada, Area 51. As my friends, I think they're going out and they're going to do some experiments or something today out in the desert. Oh my God, the picture of me is big now. Okay. Yeah, so that's what I think is going on. They're going to do something. I feel like an electricity in the air, like something is happening, because what's been going on is he's been getting some.
Can you see me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah. What happened?
Oh wait,
what happened to your internet?
I don't know. I have to use my phone though. I put my phone on, because I don't know what's going on.
Bright light behind you.
Oh yeah,
scoot to your left a little bit.
Oh,
the other way. Yeah.
Okay.
Now to the right. Now to the right. Right there. Now to the left. Right there. Stay
okay.
Right there. So you're blocking that light, okay? That's behind you. It's a green orb. Well, anyway, I tried to keep talking so we wouldn't have dead air singing Midnight in the Desert, because I'm picking something up that something wild is going to be going on in the desert tonight with my friends. As I said, I invited Joshua to come on the show. Joshua P. Warren, he was too busy. I invited Jason Sriracha. He was going to be with Joshua. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. And my friend Mobius, too. He just wasn't available either. So, I've sent you the footage of what Jason's been capturing with these weird triangle craft and the weird colors, and even that other video that I think I sent you of what looks like pink UFOs. I mean, some of the stuff that we're seeing, we don't know if it's drones. We don't know what it is.
You know what's weird, Missy? Okay, so I just did a show with Nicole, or Coley, or she calls it, and she had a disturbance, like at the end of the show. Her dog was barking, and she snapped a few pictures, and it looks like she got a picture of a triangle craft. Then I was watching Robert Earl White the other day, and it looked like he got some footage. It seems, what I'm getting at is, it seems like a lot of people are getting footage of triangle crafts for some reason. Like, I don't know why that is, like if they're becoming more prevalent, or if like maybe the ETs, but I've heard that the TR3B is a triangle craft, but then I heard the reptilians have a triangle craft too. So I don't know,
I think it's the not so secret space program. We called it the SSP. Now it's the not so secret, because all this stuff is starting to come out so we can actually know what they have. I mean, in where Jason is in Henderson, Nevada, he's about 28 minutes from Nellis Air Force Base. Okay, I'm not exactly sure what direction. And then you got Area 51, which is another Air Force base where they test all the different kinds of craft, anything that they're making, hypersonics and all the new things they're making, whatever it is being tested in places like that. But, the reason we're bringing this up again after that storm Area 51, which was kind of a silly show if people watch that, but it sparks your interest to see like the little alien look at Rachel, look at the Area 51 area, all that stuff. And then there's Boulder City, Nevada. Boulder City is actually where it's the home of Zoltar. Okay. If everybody remembers the Zoltar machine, like in the movie Big, although it's not exactly like that, but I love Zoltar. So, there's a lot of different interesting things in the desert itself. Just the energy is heightened a lot of times. I don't know. I'm just picking something up. I don't know. Because sometimes when you're close to people, you receive the same information that they're receiving at the same time. Okay. Yeah. And Joshua I want to tell you this, by the way, it's only 70 days till Halloween. Can you believe that?
Oh, that's crazy.
I can't believe it. I really can't. But anyway, he did that experiment a few years ago okay, Rob, move to your left again.
Oh, wait, hold on. Hold on. Let me just give me 1 second. I'm just going to turn that off. Oh, hold on. I'll turn that light off.
So anyway, he did this experiment out in the desert in Rachel, Nevada, where he's bought some property because he discovered a time anomaly, okay, where time flows different in certain places on the earth, like faster or slower. And what my theory for why this happens in these paranormal hotspots is because the land has, first of all, a lot of its sacred lands, you know, Native American or Indian, whatever you want to call them, Native people's lands that they do ceremony on. And there's been trauma to the land through earth changes that's in the telluric kingdom, it's in the underground, it's in the fissures, it's in the rocks, it's in the tectonic plates, it's in the underground aquifers, like, and because all this area is experimental, you know, wild lands or whatever, you know, unclaimed lands, especially in Nevada, there's so much land that they call public lands, which is great actually, that there's actually public lands. But I feel with the military, you have a lot of things going on that's going on like it's Skinwalker Ranch, okay, with just all kinds of UFO activity, you know, weird things where your cell phone doesn't work and weird signals come in and they can actually delete stuff off your phone. You know, there's all kinds of stuff. If people have watched that show, it's just bizarre stuff, you know. And I think that what happens at these paranormal hotspots, just like Brown Mountain Lights, you know, in the Linville Gorge, or any of these places where your natural phenomena is heightened because of nature, because of the elements, because of trauma, because there is no actual geopathic stress that's like random, like cell phone towers and, you know, alternating current things that they're doing just to keep our 3D matrix life the way that it is. But if they are doing something, they're doing something that's very specific with electrical and all these things, you know, whether it's like the military or whoever, you know, or some private black ops, whatever. They're doing specific experiments in that location because they actually probably to a degree, maybe not 100%, know what's going on. So you're having the meeting of, you know, this natural phenomena with what they're doing. And it's kind of like they come together at an intersection point. And that's why I feel there's like some kind of paranormal activity. It's like the same with ghostly phenomena. If it's in a certain area that's had trauma, like battlefields, you know, what, that's why they hold the imprint of what happened and it plays over and over again because the energetic terrain is ripe for that. So I don't,
We had a question. This kind of ties into what you're saying. It's Super Karoom says, what vibes are you getting off the 3-eye atlas thing? You know, that anomaly that's out in space. It's supposed to be supposedly the size of Manhattan, but like,
yeah, I know David Sereda is covering that thing. I'm not 100% sure what to make of it. I don't know. I mean, I kind of like what he's saying about it, but I've been so focused on my own. Ask him what he thinks about it. What does this guy think? I'm not sure what to think because sometimes, I mean, people are sending me so many things that I have to look at. And, you know, like this one scientist, there's so much like disinformation, but I think it's definitely something to pay attention to.
yeah.
And listening to David Sereda, I kind of trust where he might be going with it. Even though he was supposed to be a guest on my show one time and for whatever reason, he forgot and didn't show up when I had my galactic Earth fusion. We had been chatting, and then when the day came, something happened with his daughter, and he actually didn't actually show, and it never got rescheduled. And we know what's happened to Blog Talk Radio now. But yeah, I think there's going to be more of this. Did you see any of those footages that I sent you? Did you have time to watch it? I know how busy you are, and you might not have had time.
I wish we could show it. Maybe we could show it now. Is it on Facebook? Did you send it, or?
I sent it to your Instagram. I would love you to send it, and I sent you a clip of when I heard the Sasquatch. Because the reason I was bringing in the Sasquatch so much again is because of more from a place of fun, because I went to that Bigfoot expedition, and because in Western North Carolina, tomorrow, my friend Jessica, who's Joshua's sister, is going to be working with the Lucky Butterfly. If there's anybody in Marion or Old Fort, there's going to be a Bigfoot festival. This is like the annual Bigfoot festival that they have in Old Fort and Marion. Okay. And there's also going to be another one next week. I think it's in Denton, North Carolina. It's south of Charlotte, and that's going to be a big one. That's going to be like a 3-day one. But yeah, if you can find some of that footage that I sent you with that blue orb, or any of Jason's footage.
I'm going to pull it up on my computer, and then I can maybe point my phone to my computer. Let me see if I can pull it up now. I'll see if I can pull up Instagram on my computer.
I would like to see, and I'm going to see if he has messaged me, because I think somebody has here. Oh, he's not going to have any service where he is. Yeah, they're going to be out in the middle of it. But the reason I bring this up again is because, do people have an interest in doing a night vision gig, like going into the desert, going somewhere, where we can all get together and look up and see what's going on? Because you and I talked about it, and Indy doing like a road trip out there, or at some point doing an event. I think it has to be planned a little bit, and it's not just on a whim if you want people to come.
Yeah. Let me see. I just got the one. In my inbox, on my Instagram.
Okay, I can send you another one here.
I don't have the one with the pink UFOs either. If you can send that, that'd be great too.
Yeah, that's not Jason's stuff, but I can send you that. I'm going to send you this one again, because this is, I think, the one you need to see. I just sent one here. See if that's the one. And then the other one. It's in my history here.
I'm going to follow him, Jason Sarachi. Oh, I'm already following him, I guess.
Yeah, you are, yeah.
Oh, I can go to his page and pull them up. He has a bunch of.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Yeah, like well, let me see here. Let me just flip my camera. So wait, let me watch this. I can go like this. I can go media assets, camera recording. Oh wait, let me figure this out. Camera, and I can just go facing back. There. Now you're looking at my computer screen. So how do I do this? Like, oh, that's not working. Let me see here. I guess I can just play one of these.
Yep. Play the one I sent you. That was the one with the blue orb. Because when you're looking through night vision, you're not supposed to see color but green. That's mainly what you're supposed to see. And he's seeing a show every night, pretty much, between 12 and 2.
Wow.
Yeah, and we don't know who's doing it.
Yeah, here's another one. I don't know if you can see him good,
Not really, no, But
all
that
right.
one I sent you, hopefully you can see. Okay, the one below it. I sent you one. There's one that I sent you.
Let me see if I can get to that. Hold on. Messages.
And then I sent you the one with the pink UFOs.
Watchers are watching the watchers. Oh, let me see if I can play that.
Yeah, that's not his. That's somebody else's. But that ties in with what Ashiana Dean said, when we were talking about the moon and how there's like two moons and the fact that everything's like turning this infra pink, that there's we're moving into another light spectrum. I don't know if you listened to that video. And that was something she predicted, 25, 30 years ago almost.
Let me see. This is it. It's
See, my theory on this, why it's pink, is it might be there's some kind of like aurora borealis activity going on, is what's making the UFO activity reflect pink, because the sky's got pink in it. But with that orb thing, I don't think so. I think that's some artificial light causing that orb to be blue. And they can't explain what that is. Nobody knows why that's the way that it is.
That's amazing. That is. It's amazing. Like,
yeah.
And you're all up there. Like, I can see it a lot better. I can send anybody this video that wants to see it. I can. It's like, it's amazing. Wow. That's yeah. And this one. Let me see if I can get this one too.
This guy that I know, he says that he can attract these UFOs and Bigfoot. Not this video. This isn't his. Is this his now?
This is Jason. Yeah.
This is Jason. Okay, the colors look a little off though. That's almost looking pink too.
It's because of my I have a filter on my computer that blocks out the blue light.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they capture tonight, and Joshua's been doing this experiment where he's trying to open a portal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wish I could get stuff like that. I don't know why I can't. I don't know why I'm like so, I mean, I look up in the sky here in Pittsburgh and I don't see anything, I never see anything. It just don't,
Well, do you have too much artificial light around for one?
I don't know about artificial light, but we have we have a lot of the air pollution, and stuff like that,
Yeah. Well, that could be it, and if you're not near anything that's like a military base, if you're in a rural, and you're not in a rural area, you're in a not city, you're in a suburbia, right? Suburbia.
Yeah, I'm in like suburbia. Yeah.
You probably have too much light pollution, and you probably could see things if the timing's right, a certain time of the day, but you have to be spending a lot of time looking, because there's more time you're not seeing things than you are. But because he's seeing something every night, almost between 12 midnight and 2 in the morning, there's something bizarre going on there. And I think it's because there's got to be experimental craft that they're working with. It has to be. I can't see anything else that it would be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's a. What about one thing we were going to get into tonight was Robert the Haunted Doll.
I'm going to definitely get into that, but one thing, because we were still talking about Bigfoot, did you receive the thing that I sent to your Facebook so you could play that? Because for me to try to say those words, say the ooh, that was, I made that voice clip right after I heard this. And this was the reason I brought this up, because after being at like I said, the museum, and the fact that, there's so many Bigfoot festivals like this weekend, next weekend. And I just thought of, I wanted to send you those AI pictures that I made, because I've been sitting on them, and you didn't show the picture of the Bob Weir Bigfoot blanket. So it's like Bob Weir from the Grateful Dead, and somebody turned his face into putting his face with the body of Sasquatch. And this is a for real blanket on the way to Cherokee. And what happened is in 2023, coming back from Cherokee, Harrah's Casino, I went by this, it's like a store on the side of the road in Maggie Valley that has all this like Bigfoot stuff, there was this blanket there, and I would have gotten this blanket, but that was the only one they had. So and then that night was when in the middle of the night, I actually heard the scream. Now, I've never seen Sasquatch, but I heard this where it seems like it's screaming, singing, a call, and it did it like 7 or 8 times, and it was definitely to open a portal.
Wow.
And it was telepathing with me, but I actually heard an audible sound because the window was open.
Yeah.
And that's at my father's house, and my father actually wants to get some infrared cameras just because there's weird stuff going on in the woods, not just Sasquatch. There's weird stuff with people going on in the woods, but maybe it'll capture that. That would be interesting if it would, bears or something. So did you find that clip?
Yeah, I'm going to play it right now. Hold on, let me see if I can play it. I'm going to play it.
To me, it sounds like a scream, talking, maybe some kind of call all at once. There we go. But this is a higher version. This is definitely.
Holy shit. That's insane.
That was me doing that, but I don't think I'll do it again because it was so fresh in my mind. So I wanted to see if anybody had that experience where they heard it,
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was that whole thing.
Yeah, that's amazing. Do you think it was a Bigfoot then? Do you think it was?
Yeah, because they're out there. They're out there, especially. I think they're interdimensional, but I also think they're physical and they migrate because they would be there, from the warmer months to the fall. And I think they go certain places, and people see, like I have one friend that the rocks have been on a roof, and then they do like this with the trees. They do something with the trees to make them do this. But I've never seen it or smelled it. But I have a friend who has seen it where she is. I don't know why she sees it where she is, but the way the terrain is, it's more open where there's like cows that pasture and things like that. I don't know. But I did get to hear it. So, and Joshua played that on his Strange Things podcast. But okay, yeah, we're going to get into the reason I thought of Robert the Doll is because I've been cleaning out a bunch of emails in my Gmail, because my Gmail, they're trying to charge me for storage, and I've got all these old emails. So I ran across these pictures from a friend of mine who unfortunately isn't, we're not really good friends now because of during the whole La Cucaracha plague that was going on. She wanted to get the, this thing and have everybody, they had to have that to go to one of her parties. So she kind of went off the deep end. But what was cool about her, she had a museum in her house that was all aliens. And she used to have these awesome Halloween parties and then smaller parties. And I ended up meeting her at the 2009 UFO experience that Joshua put on in Burnsville, North Carolina, where people had to create their own UFO, because if you study the fake ones, and we actually made, is more Ron's idea, a UFO out of a Mylar balloon. And when this thing was flying, this Mylar balloon, it actually looked real. And then some people did like those Chinese lanterns, and they kind of looked real like UFOs too. Oh my God, that fan looks like a UFO behind you. It's like green. You've got a red background with like this green fan that almost looks like an all-seeing eye. That's cool looking, Rob.
I think I got yeah. It's because I got all different kinds of colors always going on in here. You
Oh
know.
my God, that is so awesome. So, you know, Ron listens to Coast religiously, much more so than me, because when he was working, he wanted to hear things when he was in the truck. So he would be downloading Coast to Coast. And because Joshua, I have actually never been to see Robert the doll. Okay. I haven't been. The reason I'm telling you this story was more because Ron decided to dress up as Robert the doll for Halloween one year. Just like Ron was also Pumpkin Man one year. So I think on Halloween, we'll talk more about Pumpkin Man, and I'll give you what Pumpkin Man is and how that connects in with the Brown Mountain Lights. But actually, the guest Robert Bavall had been on Coast to Coast, and when that was on, Ron said, I think he had been listening to Robert Bavall, and he goes, I think I'm going to dress up as Robert the Haunted Doll for Halloween. And it kind of creeped me out knowing about Robert. Okay, so anyway, Robert is in the Metello Museum in Key West, and he was the boy that was gifted this doll by their Haitian servant. See, his name was Robert Eugene Otto, and this was like in 1904. The servant was not happy with the family, okay, and she was like into voodoo and different kinds of witchcraft and some kind of like black magic, and everybody says, you know, she probably cursed the doll. And this guy, Robert, I'm not going to call him Robert because the doll's Robert, so we're going to call the kid Eugene. When he grew up and he was married, he would treat Robert the doll much better than his wife. It's like Robert also, can you pull the picture up of Ron, or not really, for people to see what he looks like?
Let me see here. Let me see if I can pull it up. Hold on.
And
Let me
send you what just Robert looks like by him. You know, the Robert. Okay. Okay. Let me send you this. I'll send it to your.
I have the picture right here. Hold on. Let me pull it up. Let me see. Okay, let me see.
I sent it to your Facebook. What actually Robert the doll looks like.
I have it there.
There's Ron as that. Robert is like in a sailor outfit, and because the kid was obsessed with going to the zoo and loved lions, he carries a little lion around, and he likes to sit in a rocking chair. So the real Robert the doll's coming too, okay? But this Ron dressed up as it. And
let me find the other one now that you just sent. The one of the real Robert the doll. Yeah, did you send it to my Facebook or
Facebook? Yeah.
I didn't get it yet for some reason. Like, I don't know what. Oh, here it comes. I got it. Yeah.
So this guy, the Eugene was an artist, and Eugene actually decided he was obsessed with this doll, and made furniture for this doll, and this doll had his like own dollhouse. And like I said, that his wife, he actually treated the doll better than his wife, and the wife would end up with bruises on her, and Eugene would blame Robert. Okay, so when Eugene finally passed, they had to get rid of Robert, and somehow Robert ended up in this museum. He stands about 3 feet tall, and Joshua was allowed to investigate this doll. This was, I don't know, I think it was before 2015. I mean, it was at least 10 years ago, maybe more. Robert is behind glass. Okay. Oh, and here's another thing. There was a hurricane where this was, and a lot of the things, had some damage, but somehow Robert ended up in the rafters. So he's able to move around, interestingly enough, sort of like Art Bell's alien that's also been able to move around, right? So that's kind of weird, right? So,
sparking up a joint.
Joshua was allowed to actually investigate this, where they were able to remove the glass with suction cups, and he was able to investigate this doll with a 3D imaging camera, which was not a digital camera, and shine like UV light on it. And he said that he had like some kind of weird symbol. I think it was on his right arm, because I did make a few notes, make sure I got this right. Yeah. I think, I don't know if it was on his right arm or his left arm, but it was like some kind of weird, like black magic symbol, like from ancient times, that like a sigil that was on him. Okay. And then there was all kinds of weird luck for Joshua, like at home. His wife Lauren was at home in North Carolina when he was down in the Keys, and all kinds of weird stuff started happening at their house when he was investigating Robert. Now, Joshua did ask permission, because one thing I found out is that people have written all kinds of letters to Robert, because if you take his picture without permission, bad things can happen.
Wow.
Because he's supposedly the most haunted doll in the world, and the guy that wrote the movie to do with Chucky was inspired by Robert, and that's where the whole Chucky thing came in. Now, my experience, besides Ron wanting to dress up as a haunted doll, was when I was in Vegas in 2018 for Joshua's Finding Your Magic conference. He really wanted us to go to the Zach Bagans Museum. I couldn't figure out why, because I don't like things that have like this dark, serial killer, it's just creepy, very awful. There's and we've talked about haunted dolls before. Okay. There's this doll, Peggy, that's a haunted doll, and whether she's haunted or not, it's just, the whole thing gives me a bad vibe. It was awful. And I just couldn't wait to get out of there. Like, and putting her, oh, that's telling me there's a lightning strike somewhere. I've got the weather bug, and it's telling me it goes.
Right.
And I didn't download that. It just has this cricket noise, and it goes, it makes this weird noise. But anyway, this Peggy, it's so horrible. Most deplorable, terrible conditions that they put this doll in, like behind bars, and these weird smells, and this weird music, and this weird lighting, and it was just horrible.
Wow. Did I ever tell you the story about my ex-girlfriend's haunted doll?
Yeah, but not everybody's heard it, so you probably need to tell it again. Like you said, some weird stuff with that doll talking to her, right? Like,
yeah, she had a haunted doll, and it was the size of like a Barbie doll, but it was like an alien. It was a little alien. She said it was like a little gray alien, and she said she bought it off eBay, and she said the owner told her it was 100% haunted. And then she told me that like she started like it started talking to her, like, and the owner told her that it would like to be in different areas of the closet, so she would put it in a shoebox, and then she would move it to like maybe a pocket of a shirt, or maybe in the corner, and it liked being in different places. Well, then she said it started getting like really demented, and it wanted to have sex with her. You know what I mean? It was like infiltrating her mind. So
that's so weird. Yeah, did she ever find out what the history of that thing was? Because with this, they know that this woman was into voodoo. So it was basically,
I would guess something like that, But what she did was even crazier. What she did was like she stuffed it in a wall in the middle of Pittsburgh somewhere and just left it there.
Oh.
That's like the worst thing you can do. You know what I mean? Because like because that spirit can haunt families for years to come. It's whoever moves into that place,
Yeah, that's what's weird about this whole thing, because we're animated by something almost like a puppet, right? So how what is it that can actually animate a doll? And it's not all the time, but you know, I've been in wax museums. You know, when I went to the Ron and I, when we were on the road, we went to Hannibal, Missouri. There was a wax museum, Sam Clemens, to do with Mark Twain. Those wax figures, they looked like they were animated and they were breathing. It was so weird. And that could be like a tulpa. If you know your thoughts and you can use your intention to actually create a tulpa or egregore. That's what I think is happening in Graceland, where Elvis lived and is buried. I don't necessarily think it's his spirit, but I think it's like a tulpa that creates a ghost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, yeah. Do you think it's? You don't think it's a soul? You don't think it's soul that like that? It's in those, like, you know?
I mean, the soul and spirit should move on. It could be partially that, but I think it's more what people expect, so they create it.
Yeah.
It's almost like when people look at Jesus or Yeshua, you know, like especially Catholics, and they look at an impaled body on a cross, not to offend anybody that's Catholic, but that's kind of crazy that you know, something like that would come to life, because that's not who he is, being an impaled being. You know, that's like a, you know, so that focusing on something like that actually, I think, creates a tulpa of the being that may not be what the being really is. You know, it's almost like the shadow. Remember that guy that, what was that guy that wrote the movie, the radio show before TV about the shadow, and his characters would haunt him and his house.
Wow.
If you put enough energy into something, you can create your own ghost, which is like maybe how doppelgangers and things are created. I don't know. I mean, I've always wondered, I mean, even movies, you know, when they create a movie and they put so much energy into it, if, you know, that creates hauntings. And then, of course, we know trauma really does create hauntings.
Yeah. It's trauma. Yeah. So, but do you think some of that's like some of if we live in a holographic reality, like some hauntings could be like a replay of like the Matrix playing over again,
yes.
like Gettysburg?
Yes, absolutely. With Gettysburg, when you see the soldiers that are walking across the field, and people capture that on infrared cameras, most definitely. How do you explain something like ghost ships? And it's things like, it's like grooves in a record. It's like if a record's playing, it's like stuck in a groove, and that plays over and over. That's what I think.
Wow. Yeah, that's so do you think we are in some kind of like holographic reality?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's like biological, right? You know, because we can it's biological because we can like set.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, it's weird, right? I mean, when I did DMT one time, I saw one of my viewers sent me a DMT pen. I did DMT and I was like coming off of it, and like everything on my desk looked like a hologram. You know, it was really strange.
I've never done that, but I did want to show you something I do have that came from a local store, not a dispensary, and it's not psychedelic or psychoactive, I don't think. It's got lion's mane in it.
Oh, no, those are psychoactive. Those have amanita mushrooms in them. You'll get high from those.
Does it have amanita? I've only been microdosing. Well, you know what? You know this brand? They say that they don't.
They don't put it in there, but I think they have amanita mushrooms in them. If you look them up, they have amanita. And what amanita does, it affects the GABA receptors. It makes you like more creative. It'll make you in the flow state. Like, it's nothing bad, you know. It's a good mushroom. It's like the soma mushroom. It's like it's like it was the mushroom that was with the Christmas tree. You know, it goes back to the
right.
Christmas.
Yeah. Now, according to the lady that was at the place called Octopus Garden, she said she asked ChatGPT, and they won't disclose what's in it, and she wondered if it was kava or blue lotus. But I was going to ask ChatGPT and Grok, but I just haven't gotten to it yet. So I just took a tiny piece of it to try for sleep, you know, just to tiny, tiny thing. And I take flower essences. So I mix it up with the things that I take. I don't take the same things all the time.
Do you like flower essences? Do you feel a benefit from them?
For what?
The flower essences.
Yes. Yeah, I do.
Which ones do you like the best?
Well, right now, these are gummies that are rescue remedy gummies that have like the melatonin and B6, and then there's another one that has GABA in it.
Yeah.
Those are in a different room. I'd show you what they are. But today was also a mushroom day because I was able to pick some chanterelles and I cooked them up.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, they're good, you know, but then you have to be careful of the poisonous lookalikes because I didn't see poisonous lookalikes. I saw something that looked like it, but it wasn't it. But the ones you got to be careful of is called jack-o'-lanterns. Those are not good.
Wow. Yeah.
But you and I were talking about some other things the other day that I kind of wanted to get into, unless people had questions about Robert the doll. But like I said, the reason this whole thing with Robert came up is when I found the Halloween pictures. I'm like, oh my God, I got to tell this story because it's a great story. And I'm hoping when I do go down to Florida to visit family again, if we take that Margaritaville cruise, if it does go through the Keys, I would get off in Key West and I would want to go see Robert the doll.
Oh, that would be cool. That'd be cool. I want to see the Coral Castle down there too. I think that's I can't remember where
that's in Miami or Homestead. Yeah, I've been there. Yep. So
basically like a little 120-pound. Did you hear? You know the story of the Coral Castle?
Yes, I do. I've been there a few times, and then I've also heard it on Coast to Coast, and it actually does have a feeling of when you're in there and you clap in certain places, and it feels like a vacuum of the sound like disappearing. You know, like when you go to a pyramid or something, or even when you go to Judah Rock, or even at the Biltmore Estate, if you stand in the right place in the back when you're looking at the mountains and you clap, you just hear it reverberate out and you kind of feel different. It's like an energy vortex thing that or lack of one, you know, I can't even describe it, that you actually feel a resonance and feel different. That's the way the Coral Castle is. You could tell it's built in a special way that's very interesting, the way he built that.
Yeah, this is just a comment. This is a fun fact. I wanted to give this girl a shout out. My friend Candace, she said she was in Key West before lockdown, but what I wanted to tell her was I hope she's feeling better because she's a good friend of mine. She actually has COVID right now, guys. So like I know she's had it all week, and like I hope she gets better. You know, sending you good intentions, Candace, and thanks for watching while you're sick.
I mean, feel better. Send her lots of love and energy. That's miserable, that stuff. We brought up when you and I were talking about all this stuff, the Grove Park Inn also came up because we were talking about dreams, and I'll share some things I've actually never shared on air. But first, I'm going to talk about the reason the Grove Park Inn, which was actually opened in 1913, is important, is because it's haunted by a ghost called the Pink Lady that people see. That's like they visualize her as blonde in a pink dress. She died in the 1920s. Some people say she was a lady of the night and she fell to her death from the 5th floor, and the room 545 seems to be the room that's most haunted. And Ron and I stayed there a few years back because we got a package where we could go to the spa, which is absolutely amazing. If you look at the Grove Park Spa, where it has these pools like salt, and you hear music underwater, and then it has these waterfalls that like massage you. It's like warm water coming off rocks, and you get under it and it'll massage your back, and then there's like a cold plunge, and you can go get a massage, or sometimes they had it where you had to purchase a service. So we'd get like a pedicure. They give you champagne and chocolate and a wrap and soft lighting and music, and then you get as much spa time as you want. But this other package that we had this one time is you could stay there like on a Sunday night and then like have 4 or 5 hours of spa time. So we've done it a few different ways, a few different times. The bad news when we stayed there was the one time somebody got my credit card information and charged thousands of dollars to Apple iTunes. So that wasn't great, but I know that's when they,
Holy shit. It's
where they
insane.
got it. Yeah.
Wow.
But great about the Grove Park Inn. Unfortunately, now it's the Omni Grove Park Inn. So it's more commercial than it used to be. I mean, it's still beautiful. It has a gingerbread. Hasn't lately, I think, since COVID. And then Helene. Last year there was no gingerbread competition because of Helene. But yeah, it's the National Gingerbread Competition is what they have going on there. But there's a conductor to this, the elevator that'll take you up to the 5th floor to go see, the Pink Lady room. And what's interesting about this is Joshua was commissioned to investigate this for like 6 months. He like stayed there. And then they decided, I can't remember how many years ago, probably more than 20 years ago, or 25 years ago now, at least, maybe longer, in the 90s. I don't even know. He, after he did that, they decided, maybe this is a good idea. We tell people there's a ghost because this is actually a thing that'll draw tourists, right?
Yeah.
But the reason, more than the whole thing about the Pink Lady and, kids being obsessed with her and wanting to write her letters, and this is like the thing that people want to go see. I've had some other weird experiences at the Grove Park Inn. I mean, one time
I will remind you this too. We had time anomalies on here too. I don't want to forget because I definitely want to touch on that too. Like, because I know we were going to talk about that as well. But like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Like, I just didn't want to forget.
Oh, okay. Well, we did touch on that some with the whole desert thing because, but I'll come back. I'll circle back around to that. So, with and this is a time anomaly. What I'm going to tell you actually, because when I was walking through the Grove Park Inn during a time of watching the gingerbread houses, I smelled something that smelled like hospital drugs or an infirmary, to find out that during World War II, they actually used the Grove Park Inn as an infirmary.
Wow.
Which I found very strange. So there are these places that are haunted and have residual energy that create the time loops where you can easily access time portals. Okay. The other thing that's special about the Grove Park Inn for me is when Obama was president. This kind of ties in with this whole time weirdness, displaced, dimensional, whatever. Dreams are not necessarily dreams, because you brought up that somebody else had some weird dreams. That's why I'm telling this story, because normally I probably wouldn't tell this story. I started having dreams of Obama, and I was working in catering at the Grove Park Inn behind some kind of secret passageways, like when you see in the movies and there's like a library and then that whole wall disappears and behind it something else. So
yeah, that's cool.
I was like in the restaurant part of it. Like they'd be sitting in some room with books, like a library, and couches, and bringing in hors d'oeuvres or drinks. And I'm doing this, and I'm like a spy to gather information on some level. I'm dreaming this, okay? And this was usually, I'd have these dreams and I would find out that he was coming into Asheville, because he would frequent Asheville a lot because he liked to play golf, okay? And one time, and when he would come into town, the military flies around, and so a lot of times there's a lot of chemtrail spraying and just a lot of things with sound and seeing planes because they're protecting at least a 5-mile radius of airspace. And even when I was in coming back from Johnson City, I was at a Coptic fellowship thing, and Ron and I decided to go up to Wiseman's View in Linville Gorge area, and so a lot of times we'd see people up there. I've talked about the Brown Mountain Lights before. Some weird things happened when they were protecting the airspace, as far as things that look like you think they're UFOs, but then you think they're like helicopters, and they morph. Kind of like this stuff we're looking at, with these videos. We don't know what this is, and this was before the drone thing. This was before drones, because this was whenever he was, president. I mean, this is a good 10 years ago or so, when when we were up there. I mean, I can't remember the year, maybe 2015. I don't know. Just weird, and feeling weird, and knowing, because we have these 3rd generation night vision goggles, which is another thing we're going to talk about what these are. The military has them. They're military grade. These were the tube, not the casing, but the tube was in Desert Storm. It was used in Desert Storm. It's patented. It has a serial number. They can look down and know that you have the stuff. They may not know what our intentions are. Like, now the night vision is so common, and you can buy other types of night vision, not necessarily 3rd gen. But I felt like we were being watched. I mean, I've been up there, and you have the feeling that you're being watched, and you don't know what you're being watched by. And then to have the feeling that somebody's getting in your head and making you paranoid, and you're not smoking anything or doing anything. You're completely in your right mind. You're completely sober on every level. And something is getting in your mind, screwing with your mind. You're being followed home. That there's an aerosol, or somebody sprayed something in your garage, and you hear weird noises when you get home. And then, I always listen to Coast and hear somebody say, telling you what inside your head, telling you what you're going to do before you do it. You're going to go in the house, and you're going to feed your cats, and you're going to make yourself a cup of tea, and you're going to turn on George Norrie and listen to him. I mean, it doesn't sound like it's any big deal, like the way I'm saying this, but to have had this experience and be like fearful when I'm driving back in the middle of the night from where I was, because you feel like you're being watched, and it all ties into the dreams, the airspace, and everything that was actually probably going on. This might have even been 2010. I don't remember. I think it started in 2010. It started for me whenever he became president. You have to look that up, because I can't even remember right now. There's just been so much going on. And I haven't really wanted to even talk about this before, but then it ties in with my tours I used to do. Because I used to do a tour, the tour and the Biltmore Village Mystery Tour. It's not just haunted, it's a haunted historical tour, but it's a mystery tour, because there's other things that I talk about in the tour besides hauntings. Like, there was a restaurant called the Corner Kitchen that was haunted by a Confederate general, but that's not the story I tell. The story I tell is it all tied into the Grove Park Inn and all this stuff, because we had eaten there. Ron's daughter and boyfriend at the time, we had eaten there, and a couple days before, we found out that somebody had called and said, I need the whole upstairs because I want to propose to my girlfriend. And then the Secret Service shows up and locks the place down, because Obama used to eat there. It was his favorite restaurant, was the Corner Kitchen, and another one called 12 Bones. So whenever he would come into town, just imagine you're at this restaurant and you're not allowed to leave because he's decided, him and his golfing buddies, the whole upstairs is going to be used for his party. So that means new people can't come in. The people that are there can't leave. And the Secret Service is protecting the whole thing, and they have to lock down the kitchen and everything like that. So that was the stuff that would go on when he, you know, and why I'm having the dreams is, I think, because I'm so connected to the land in Western North Carolina. So it's like my higher self is doing some kind of work and I'm needing to know what was going on. I don't have those dreams anymore. It was just when he would come there. And I'd find out that he was there because I wasn't always watching the news. But you had brought up that somebody else had dreams about him. So that's why I told that story and why I'm telling the story about the Grove Park Inn. But I think all of it is connected to like these time things. Now, when I grew up in Florida, part of the time when I lived there, I went to there was a grocery store called the Grand Union. And I remember going there and being in the store and being in the parking lot, but I don't remember how I got from inside the store to the parking lot. And
Well,
I've had other things like this. And even driving the truck in the middle of the desert in Nevada, I think it was, listening to Art Bell, going off the road and not knowing how the road ended. And I'm just in the middle of nothing and no road.
wow. What the heck? That's insane. That's strange. Yeah, I don't even know what to say. Like,
Yeah. And just turning around and waking Ron up and freaking the hell out because I mean, how does that happen? A road just disappears. I mean, you're off the road in the middle of the desert and there's just nothing.
wow.
And you were on a normal road. And I told you about the guy because you said you saw something weird. You said you were walking and you saw this guy that was weird. There was something weird about him. And I said, do you get it was like a, like we hear about the black-eyed children, right? Or like a Men in Black or something. But there was something weird. You said you were taking a walk and there was this guy that was like following you.
Oh yeah. I'll tell you about it. Yeah. So I was walking the other night, and I live in like a rural area, or like the suburbs. So like when I take a walk at night, there's absolutely no one outside. You know what I mean? Like there's not a chance. I mean, most people are asleep when I go for a walk. You know, like I mean, it's only like 10 or 11 o'clock, but everybody's still sleeping. You know. And I was just walking down the street, like probably about a mile, I don't know, it was somewhat near my house. And, something told me to turn around, and I turned around and I saw this guy. He looked like very disheveled, and like he looked like he was on drugs, or like he had just gotten out of the psych ward. You know what I mean? And he was like smoking a cigarette, and like, and when I turned around, he like stopped dead in his tracks, and then like he didn't know what to do, and then so I just like started walking towards him because I'm like, I'm not afraid of anything. You know what I mean? Like, like if he's, I was like, I'm gonna chase him out and see what he is, but like I didn't see anything odd. I mean, maybe he was like not real. I don't know. I didn't smoke weed or anything when I saw him. I was like, I was just like, yeah. So I don't think I was imagining it, but it was like, he could have been a ghost. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And then one time when I was driving and I was in Fletcher, coming from Hendersonville into Fletcher, where I turned down this brickyard road going to my old house, and then there's this weird church there. I saw like this Jesus-like a type of guy that was like, it was like almost like the long robe and bare feet, and then he was just gone. It was, I don't know if it was a full body apparition. I have no idea, but as far as the time anomalies, have you heard that sometimes even in your own house, time can flow differently? I think it's like in the basement, time is slower than up higher up or something. Or maybe it's you know what I mean? Like even in your house, there could be a few seconds difference as far as time goes.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That's really.
I know in Puerto Rico that happened, that time is like slower, and it has something to do with where you are with the equator and the different spots as far as magnetics on the earth.
Wow. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah. One thing they say about time is they say like when you're in a pattern, like and you do the same thing every day, time goes by really fast. But they say if you change up your lifestyle and you go on like vacation or something, they say time will actually slow down, which it makes sense because when I went to Florida, I was only gone for 10 days, but it seemed like I was gone for a lot longer. It seemed like time was lasting longer. There was more hours in the day for some reason, or I don't know, which was great because I was on vacation. And sometimes, a lot of times you hear people say like, "Oh, vacation went by so fast," but not for me. For me, it seemed like things were like it was like I had more time. You know what I mean? Where I don't know, it's weird.
Time is like this though, where like the beginning of the year, it goes, and I don't know if this has something to do with the sun too, and the way we travel through space, but it starts off like this. And then when it gets to a certain point, then at the end it goes.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the way of a vacation, where in the beginning it's slow and then at the end it speeds up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people say, the older you are, time speeds up. But then even the young people are saying that time is faster. And that's because there's a collective push to get to the end, to the singularity, I think there's somebody that's running this game that's wanting us to, like we're rats in the maze or whatever, and they're wanting to push us to get to the next level of the video game, where there's more things that come in and you have to shoot them, like, Donkey Kong or whatever, Pac-Man, Space Invaders, all that kind of stuff that you have to move through quicker.
Yeah, it's yeah. It's I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. It's interesting for sure. Time's always fascinated me. That's why I always like the Art Bell time travel shows. Like the one, you remember the one about John Teeter, and then there was the guy who was the guy is oh man, that was the best one, was Madman Markham. He stole the transformers from the electricity place, and then he used like an exuberant amount of electricity to generate this time machine. Then he jumped in it and ended up 2 years in the future, and he didn't know who he was.
If you could go to any time, which time would you go to?
I would go to, well, I would want to do a couple things. Like I would want to go see the crucifixion of Jesus for sure, to see if it happened or see what went down, whether he was, like, because there's so many theories, right? There's so many theories from like, someone else replaced him, and he moved on and went to like France and lived with Mary Magdalene and had kids, or someone will say this or that, or someone say he wasn't even crucified, or some people say he wasn't even real, or some people, there's so many different theories about that one figure in our community. I would say I would have to go back to that point. And then I think I would want to go back to like maybe the forming of the United States, to see
the
that.
signing of the Declaration of Independence. Yeah, that's what I was getting too.
Yeah, and then I would want to go back to the 50s too, because like I like that time in America. It was like real classic, like Americana, or maybe the disco era too. That'd be cool. But I would definitely want to come back, because I think we're living in the best time. Because like with the internet and like the way everybody's learning things, it's like it's literally, I think, the best time to be alive.
My aunt is watching the show Quantum Leap, and I forgot about that.
That was a great show. I love that with Scott Bakula. I used to watch that all the time. You know, that was an amazing show.
Yeah, so I got to watch it because I never really watched all that show.
Oh man, that's an amazing show. Yeah, he would wake up in a different body every episode. You know.
Yeah.
You know, it was a show that was definitely ahead of its time. You know. Yeah. You know, it's a good. I talked to people about this before. Like, people are gonna think I'm a nerd for saying this, but like, this is this is the stuff I don't watch much TV. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I have a Netflix. I mean, or, you know, like I have Amazon Prime, but I don't even really watch that. So like, when I'm like bored and I'm like looking for something to watch, I'm not listening to a podcast. I'll put on Pluto TV, which is so funny because like, it's free, but it's like they have some amazing. They have like 3 paranormal channels on there. Then they have an alien channel. Then they have just like stuff from like the early 2000s, 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s. It goes way back, you know, like old shows. Like, and that's like something you would see on there. You would definitely see Quantum Leap on there. Like, you know, you can find some real gems on Pluto TV. There's some real interesting stuff. I think they have like 3 Star Trek channels. You know, like which is it's amazing. Like like they have some really cool stuff on there. And you gotta look for it stuff, but like, you know, yeah.
You know that you said Amazon Prime. Did you ever see the Man in the High Castle, which is based on
What's that about?
Philip K. Dick's book? Hi, Rio. It's about an alternative timeline where if the Nazis won the war, and it divides America into 3 different places. Like Eastern United States is Nazi territory. The middle is, you know, just like the old Wild West where, you know, it's the neutral zone, and the West is the Japanese. And then there's these films that show alternative timelines and who the different characters are in each time and whether they're freedom fighters or they're bad. It's very interesting.
Wow. That's really cool. Like, yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. Yeah, that's one I haven't seen. I saw it on there for sure. You know. Yeah. What about documentaries? Have you seen any good documentaries lately?
I haven't really watched anything that's not a stupid documentary like that. Storm Area 51. I don't know if you call that a documentary, but no, not really.
Yeah. Well, this is amazing. Yeah. I mean, maybe we could finish. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Well, what I want to do is circle back around to what we started with. Let me see if I covered everything on here. Yeah, we did Robert the Doll, and you know, I pretty much said everything I wanted to say as far as. But the thing I want to talk about is see if there's any interest in. Do people want to actually go out and do this thing, or is this something we want to plan? I don't know if we want to try to get this planned by November. I don't know if we can do it that soon. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm going to wait to hear from them. Let's see if I got any messages from either of them. No, I haven't gotten any messages. It's 3 hours earlier there. So for them, it's only 8:30 and they're going to probably be up till the wee hours doing whatever they're doing. But I'm just curious what you feel about that. I mean, does anybody have any interest in going into the desert with us?
I do. I mean,
the audience.
Yeah. Does anybody in the audience? What do you guys think? Like, do you guys want to take a trip with us to Area 51 and like try to do this? Like,
well, I wouldn't say Area 51. That's off limits. But basically, Rachel, Nevada, or Vegas, Henderson, you know, and what time of year? There's other things to do there too. There's, like I said, there's Boulder City, and there's even some hot springs and things like that.
That would be cool. You know, it would be cool.
There's also Bryce Canyon.
How far is the Skinwalker Ranch from there? That's Utah, right? So that would be way farther, right?
That's a ways, I think. I can look it up. How far is Skinwalker Ranch from Las Vegas?
The drive from Las Vegas to Skinwalker Ranch is 494.9 miles.
Yes, 7 hours and 35 minutes.
Wow, that's far. That's like from here to New York.
Yeah. Does anybody have anything to say? I mean, we can just put this to rest for now if people aren't
Well,
interested.
no. Emily Patton friend says she would love to do it. She says she wants to go on an alien exploration trip. So I'll put that up on the screen. She says she would love to do it. Anybody else interested? I know everybody's
Oh
probably
my God,
interested.
I love that picture. I love it. I'm a crazy cat lady. I love it. Emma. Oh, I love black cats.
Her cats. That cat there has two sons. Their names are Enki and Enlil.
Oh my God, that's funny. What, she's the mom?
Yes, that's the mom, Emily. There. Yeah.
Well, Arthur has a girlfriend named Kombucha who's a black cat, a part-time girlfriend.
That's hilarious.
My first cat was a black cat too. Her name was Matilda. Yeah. So, anybody else that has any interest or any questions before we wrap it up for the night? Call it a wrap.
Kitzelile says he would like to go. Let me see here. Kaysen says he heard that Area 51 is just a front for the deeper underground levels like S4.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of times, even when they interviewed Bob Lazar, they would ask him where he would take him to, and they would say they would go further than Area 51. He would be at somewhere like S4, I think is where he said.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But I would really like to do it. I need another vacation. I know it sounds crazy. I just had a vacation, but I need another vacation because I just work a lot, and I would just like to get away, and it would be fun to take a road trip. I would love to do a whole West Coast tour. I'd like to go down to New Mexico and go to Roswell and go to Skinwalker Ranch, or just make a whole itinerary. But I guess those places are far from it, but for me being on the East Coast, it's I don't know. If I'd like to see it. That would get expensive though, probably too. Going
get
to
expensive. So that's what I'm saying. It might have to be planned, find out who's where, but I don't think we could get this done by November. It's probably, unless it's just for a day or two and people fly out there, but it's not probably something we were thinking about doing it, but I don't know if we could do it in November or not.
maybe spring.
Yeah, I'm thinking spring's probably better. That's what I was getting.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I want to plan it because if we wanted, just say we wanted to drive, we're not going to want to drive in the winter. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
Days are going to be getting short, and you don't know if it's going to snow. So just let's see if people get some interest and they start emailing. So if you have any interest in this, have any interest in doing a night vision tour here, or even something in Western North Carolina or in Charleston, email me. And for private session work and quantum infinity and things like that, email me at Hill, HILL, night, NITE, vision, VISION at gmail.com, hillnightvision@gmail.com. And friend me on Facebook, Instagram, that X, that kind of stuff, and just see where this goes. But I just want to see if this is an interest for people, if this is something they're going to want to do. And on the other end, with my friends out there, they're going to be talking about this too, because if we can make this a larger event and they could promote it, that would be great.
Yeah. Brooke says in the chat, she says there's a thing in Dallas, October 17th to the 20th. I think that's Rion's conference. And there's also a thing, Brooke, there's James Rink's Super Soldier Conference happening around then too. I think those events are running concurrent with each other.
And I was going to go, but I'm going to just do the online thing because I'm going to be pet sitting at that time. So I've got 3 weeks of pet sitting in Black Mountain, and then I've got a week of pet sitting in Fletcher when Jessica goes to see her brother in Las Vegas. So
yeah,
I guess that's it. I guess that's a wrap. I just want to let's see where it goes, and we'll find out, what people say, and if any of your audience is seeing anything weird out there, because I'm sure you have a lot of people that are out there. So what are you guys seeing out in Las Vegas, Rachel, and Henderson area, and anywhere in that west region.
I wanted to show you this. This is from Derek. He says having the Amish help rebuild Western North Carolina would be great. They've been helping the victims rebuild for free since Hurricane Helene hit, he says.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, let me give an update on what's going on with all that before, too. So I've told you before my theory about why the weather has shifted. The dry mugginess, because the rivers are actually displaced now. And it's removing, topsoil and things like that. So that's like nature's air conditioning there. So that's like a trauma to the land. The fact that the soil's gone.
Yeah.
And some of the smaller creeks are dried up now.
Wow.
And a tragedy is for people that lost their homes. They can't rebuild because the insurance companies are not going to insure them right now because they don't know what's going to happen with the land because it hasn't settled yet.
Wow, that's
and there's
horrible.
even been more earthquakes and things in like Tennessee and North Carolina because I get these earthquake alerts too.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's just strange.
I mean, that's horrible that they're not going to insure the people that lost their homes. What's going to happen to all those people?
I don't know. I mean, I guess they will eventually, but it's like they're waiting for land to settle because you can't build something when you don't know. And then I'm noticing that there's been, like, I'm here in Georgia, and I'm noticing when they build buildings on top of this, like there'll be a hill, and it'll be like on the side of a hill, and I'm thinking, what if there's so much rain or the ground just collapses? Because it's like in my mind's eye, I'm in the future, this time anomaly where I'm the time travel machine, and I can actually see this is not a good place to build something because, if there's too much rain, that's going to collapse where these homes are and these buildings. It's like, oh my God.
That's
It doesn't
good
take it. I'm not an engineer, and it doesn't take a brain surgeon to figure out, don't build here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Well, this was awesome, Missy. Yeah, I mean, do you any final words before we finish up for tonight or anything?
Just like I said, friend me, email me, and we'll see where this goes as we try to plan it and see what people think, what time of the year they're feeling. And if there's something they want to do, the another thing we talked about with you possibly was the Mothman Festival.
Yeah, I'd like to do that. Yeah, if anybody's in the Pennsylvania area and you want to go to the, surrounding Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Ohio, New York, New York would be a far drive, but there's the Mothman Festival in West Virginia, and I'm trying to get people together to go for that. I think that's September 15th through the 17th or something like that.
Oh, is it? I won't be back by then. The next thing is I have to go to Eddystone. We talked about doing something around 9/11 because that's an important day in the Matrix too. And I was actually on the road that day, but I'll tell that story later. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, Rob, it's always fun. Yeah, it's great. And yeah, I want us to go out to the desert. I do. I think it would be great. The timing's got to be right, and we have to promote it some. So
I agree. Yeah. Yeah. And all right. Oh yeah. Let's talk to Indy about it and let's see what everybody wants to do. And we'll get it set up. I would love to do it,
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be in November. And like I'm feeling like it needs to be planned a little bit more than trying to make it happen that quick. Even though we said on a whim we might. But let's see what people say. But I mean, I'm open to,
Yeah, that's a good point. All right. Well, thanks for everybody for tuning in, and guys, follow Missy and book a session with her. And thank you, Missy, and everybody have a good night. And I'll see you tomorrow.